Daniel Ruiz wasn't the type to cause trouble. A retired engineer in his late 50s, he had bought a modest home on the edge of a gated community to enjoy peace after years of hard work. He loved tinkering with old cars, and his favorite pride and joy was a classic Chevy pickup he had restored by hand. To him, parking it on the street outside his home wasn't just convenience. It was a little piece of happiness he looked forward to every day. But the HOA had other ideas. It started small, an email reminding residents that street parking was not allowed. Daniel shrugged it off, since technically, the stretch of road outside his property wasn't listed as HOA owned in his deed. Then came the fines, slips of paper demanding hundreds of dollars for violations. Daniel ignored them, confident they had no legal standing. The final straw came one Saturday morning. He stepped outside to find a neon orange sticker plastered across his truck, unauthorized vehicle. Subject to immediate tow. His stomach sank. Anger bubbled. It wasn't just about parking anymore. It was about being bullied in his own neighborhood. When he tried reasoning with the HOA president, Marcia, a woman with a sharp smile and sharper tongue, she dismissed him coldly. "Rules are rules, Mr. Ruiz. If you don't like it, you're free to move." The arrogance cut deeper than the fine notices. Daniel clenched his fists, forcing himself to stay calm. What Marcia didn't know was that Daniel had a quiet ace up his sleeve. Something he had never once flaunted. Years ago, when the community was built, Daniel had bought not just his lot, but also a strip of land that included the very road in front of his house. Developers hadn't realized they had left it out of the HOA's jurisdiction, and Daniel, with his engineer's foresight, had snapped it up cheaply. On paper, the HOA's authority stopped a few feet short of where his truck sat. For years he had said nothing. He hadn't wanted drama. But as he stood staring at the orange sticker, he realized something: some battles choose you. And Daniel was ready to fight. The next HOA meeting was tense. Daniel showed up, calm as ever, while the board members whispered behind their polished oak table. Marcia's voice was smug as she began. "Mr. Ruiz, your repeated violations leave us no choice but to issue escalating fines. If unpaid, they may result in liens against your property." Daniel smiled politely. "Actually, I came to clarify something. You see, the road in front of my home, the one you claim I can't park on, isn't yours." Confusion rippled across the room. He pulled out a folder, laying down copies of the land deed and survey maps. Gasps filled the air as the truth sank in. Daniel legally owned the road. "So let me be clear," he continued. "You have no jurisdiction over where I park. And since your signage and fines imply authority you don't have, I could technically pursue legal action for harassment." Marcia's face drained of color, but her pride wouldn't let her back down. That road is essential for community access. You can't just block it off?" Daniel leaned back, his voice steady. "Oh, I wouldn't block it. But I could declare it unbuildable, meaning no future expansion, no utilities without my permission. You see, sometimes rules are just lines drawn in the sand, and sometimes people forget who drew them." Silence. The once arrogant board sat frozen. For the first time, Daniel felt the weight of their fear. Not because he wanted revenge, but because they finally understood power wasn't in titles or boards. It was in truth. Over the next weeks, the HOA backed off. Notices stopped. Fines disappeared. And, slowly, the same neighbors who once judged Daniel for breaking rules began greeting him warmly. They respected him now. Not because he flaunted authority, but because he stood up against unfairness with dignity. One evening, a young father from down the street approached Daniel while he was polishing his truck. "Hey," the man said softly, "I wanted to thank you. The HOA hassled me about leaving my daughter's bike outside. After you stood up to them, they've eased up on everyone. You didn't just fight for yourself. You fought for all of us." Daniel smiled, his chest warming. He hadn't realized it, but his quiet resistance had sparked change beyond himself. Closing message. What started as a stolen parking spot became something much bigger, a reminder that rules without fairness are just chains. Sometimes it takes one person to stand up, not with anger, but with truth, to set an entire community free. So the next time you feel powerless against unfair systems, remember Daniel's story. Real strength isn't loud. It's steady, patient, and rooted in what's right. Because when arrogance meets quiet power, justice wins.